Hi, I'm Michael Senoff, founder and CEO of HardToFindSeminars.com. For the last 5 years, I've interviewed the world's best business and marketing minds. Now my challenge is to build the world's largest free resource for online, downloadable audio business interviews. I've learned a lot in the last 5 years, and today I'm going to show you the skills you need to survive.
What are these guys' lifestyles like Brian Tracy and Jim Rohn and Tony Robbins? Do you know?
Well, that's a loaded question. This is Michael?
Yep. Hey, Peter.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Good. Go ahead and ask anything you want.
You said you were the former senior marketing manager for Nightingale-Conant.
Uh-huh.
How did you get involved with them, and what were you doing even before you were with them?
Well, it's kind of a funny story. I ended up getting involved in the self-help industry totally by accident. I was a manager, supervisor with UPS, and I was kind of down in my career, and I was getting tired of it, and I was looking for some answers. I wanted to get into a more professional environment. And I happened to be in a boss's office, and he had a book laying on the ground, not on the ground, but on a desk that caught my eyes. It was The Magic of Thinking Big by Schwartz.
Okay.
One of my favorite marketing books. And then he had on the wall, and it was funny, I never noticed it before, it was a picture of a bunch of sled dogs. And the caption on it said, "If you're not the lead dog, your view never changes."
Okay.
I thought, if this guy's got this kind of picture and he's reading these kind of books and he's, very successful, a guy, I figured, I better read this book, The Magic of Thinking Big, and, check it out. And I did, and I loved it. And that led me to...
How old were you at the time?
That was, 24.
Okay, so you're in 20. And are you from Chicago?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was in Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was kind of funny. I ended up going to Successories from there. They were a company that makes all those motivational pictures and plaques and what have you.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, I ended up becoming a manager for them, and of course, just had tapes and books and everything you can imagine available to me, and I devoured this stuff for about a year, and finally it dawned on me to look actually at the back of one of the tape sets, and I noticed Nightingale-Conant, and I noticed they were in Niles, Illinois, so I figured, this is a company I need to work with, so I figured I'm going to do anything I can to get in the company, and I'll just prove myself, and that's what I did. I ended up coming into Nightingale-Conant. I interviewed with them and told the HR manager, if you put me in sales, I'll be your #1 salesperson within a couple months. Did it. Ended up getting promoted into all different areas within the company. I was manager of outbound telemarketing. I was the manager of interactive media. I did product development. I actually was one of the only people, maybe the only person within the company ever, who conceptualized the program, did the deal with the author for the program, helped write the program and produce the program, and marketed the program not only to Nightingale customers successfully, but sold it to a major publisher. And that particular product that I'm referring to was a CD-ROM, How to Become a Self-Made Millionaire with Brian Tracy. So I've done it all there for the most part. And then I became a senior marketing manager in charge of direct mail tips, product strategy, working with the authors, negotiating deals. And then before I left the company, I did my own program finally with Bob Proctor, called Negotiate Your Way to Riches. So I ended up achieving my goal of doing my own program, and then I kind of looked into other avenues. That's when I left the company. Direct marketing for authors and for other companies.
So what do you do now?
I do direct marketing strategy for various companies. I've done work with the Church of Scientology, PSI seminars. I've worked very close with Joe Sugarman of Blue Blocker Corporation. We did promotions with the Cubs, all sorts of things.
So you'll go after a company and you'll tell them who you are and what you've done, your experience, and you'll come in as a marketing consultant?
Marketing consultant, strategy consultant, kind of work in both areas. As of late, I've started an entertainment company where I'm taking new talent and doing local promotions. I mean, I want to get eventually into entertainment promotion and just stay with that. But using my direct marketing strategies and skills that I've learned throughout my career.
When you were with Nightingale-Conant, when you first came with them, like how many years ago was that, and how were they doing it at that time as a company?
I believe that was 1992. They were doing really well. They were selling really well, and actually that was a peak time for them.
Do you know the story behind, like, exactly how did that company totally evolve? Was it with Earl Nightingale?
Well, there's different scenarios, but actually at a Christmas party, Hazel Conant, who is Dick's mother, told me that she was listening to the radio one day, and she heard Earl Nightingale doing his radio show on GN, Sky King. And she called Lloyd's attention to it, and Lloyd started listening to it and fell in love with his motivational moments, so to speak. And he called Earl, and they formed a partnership. He owned a company. Lloyd owned a company called, I think it was Specialty Printing.
How old were these guys at that time?
I couldn't tell you that. I just know they had to be somewhere in their 30s, 40s.
Are they both, Earl Nightingale's dead?
They both passed away in the 80s. I can't remember the exact years, but they were both passed away in the 80s.
Okay. Is it a private company?
Yes. All owned by Dick Conant.
Oh, okay. And were they're basically the only player in town, aren't they? Or major player.
And Fred Pryor was in there. There were a couple of players, but nobody really focused where Nightingale did and more the motivation. I think that Fred Pryor and Career Track focus more in the areas of technical training for secretaries, for accountants, for finance people, more in that vein, whereas really the Brian Tracy's, the Tony Robbins, the Steve Covey's, they all went through Nightingale.
I see.
And, of course, a lot of these authors have their own organizations, too.
So is Nightingale-Conant responsible for making some of these guys, putting these guys on the map, or what would you say?
Well, I guess that depends who you ask, if you ask us or them, but most of the authors had something going prior to Nightingale, but it was nowhere near the magnitude of what they ended up with as a result of Nightingale.
Right.
Brian Tracy's an example. I mean, he had a business doing sales consulting and what have you prior to Nightingale, but then he got really heavy in the tape business as a result of us. Of course, the seminar business flourished because of it. Again, he had the talent to do it, though, so we can't dispel that.
Exactly. So when you came in with Nightingale-Conant and you became their number one salesman, in what aspect were you doing sales? Were you generating sales through telemarketing or direct sales or pounding the streets or what?
Telemarketing at the time.
So Nightingale, was it mainly an outbound telemarketing operation?
No, I was doing inbound.
So it was inbound. And they had
we did some of both, actually. I shouldn't say that. We did mainly inbound, some outbound. It didn't matter. I could sell Nightingale-Conant programs all day long.
Yeah. What do you think the percentage is of people who get these programs actually listen to this stuff?
Well, you have to be a little bit clearer or a little more focused when you say listen.
Well, I mean,
pop the package open and listen to one tape.
Yeah. I mean, you know human nature. Most people who buy a book never even crack it, much less get to the last page. From your experience and what you knew about, I don't know if that reflected in product returns, but just you knowing what you know about people, do you have any insight?
Sure. I'd say over 60-70% would crack the package. We would get back maybe 15% of all the packages unopened.
Hi, it's Michael Senoff with HardToFindSeminars.com. Thanks for watching this video. You know, many of my interviews last 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, sometimes even up to 2.5 hours long. They're actual mini-seminars, and you've just listened to a short sample of just one of over 117 hours of exciting, hard-hitting, mind-blowing interviews on how to make money in direct mail, advertising, copywriting. I assure you, there is not a resource anywhere on the internet or on the planet that comes close to the free information I provide at HardToFindSeminars.com. So go right now to HardToFindSeminars.com and you'll have free access to 117 hours of audio interviews with typed word-for-word downloadable transcripts and downloadable MP3 files. Please browse some more of the videos or go right directly to HardToFindSeminars.com. Thanks for watching.